Hello, I am the Pickled Onion Knight and welcome to another one of my videos where I go through my presentation pack stamp folders. Now, I'm going to do a bit of a break with tradition here. I'm going to do 3 folders at once. Now, I'm going to do it, I'm not even going to go at the point where I'm going to do the thing where I change the position of the camera to try and get a better view of the folders. Purely because the next 3 folders that I'm going to do are from the point where I stopped collecting for a long while. I stopped collecting everything, pretty much. And yeah, stamps was no different to anything else I was collecting at the time. It just had to be knocked on the head for various reasons, most of which was I couldn't really afford to. So yeah, so these are going to be. This is probably going to be about the same length as a normal video that I do, only it's going to encompass 3 folders with not an awful lot in them, but I'll show what I've got anyway. And yeah, I'm not going to bother panning the camera for this one because the folders are so empty and so light I can lift them up to show them to the camera, so that should work out fine. So yeah, first one I'm going to do is that one, folder number 11, which if it was full of stamps would run from the 18th of April 2006 to the 14th of October 2008. So I may as well just go through these as is. So I'm hoping that's showing up all right. In fact, let me just check that. Let me just check where the camera can actually see to. No. So, yeah, no, that's about right. So, if I take that as the bottom, then, yep, okay, so that should work. Yep, so I've just double checked that, and this should work if I go here. Yeah, can you all see that? Good. So, as usual, there's an index here that I've done. In fact, I can lift it like this. Maybe giving it some height might help. So first of all here I've got World Cup winners stamps. So there's some of the different ones. So we've got, what's that? That's Italy. Don't know what that one is. It looks like Ireland, but it can't be Ireland. No, it's France. Sorry, it's France. Germany, Argentina, England, and Brazil. So all the World Cup winners there. Then the next one is modern architecture, and I don't know what any of these buildings are, so don't ask me. I don't know. And then there's a couple of blanks, and then Christmas 2006. Nice little sweet Christmas cardy style stamps there. So yeah, I mean these are obviously the same design, but one's for large letters there. And then some more blanks, and then some more blanks, and then some more blanks. Yeah, there's a lot of blanks. And then 2 more pages of blanks, and another page of blanks, and then celebrating Northern Ireland. All the different vistas of Northern Ireland that you can get there on a miniature sheet. This is another one of these that's a miniature sheet in a presentation pack. Really useful to collectors because you don't have to buy 2 things. Then some more blanks, some more blanks. And on the final page, what does that say? Women of Distinction. Now, I don't know who any of them are. I could check. So, who have we got? We've got suffragettes, Millicent Barrett Fawcett, physician Elizabeth Garrett Anderson, pioneer of family planning Marie Stopes, campaigner for family allowance Eleanor Rathborne, civil rights activist Claudia Jones, and the Equal Pay Act Barbara Castle, politician. So that's your women of distinction all there. So yeah, that was a quick one, wasn't it? That's the end of folder 11. And we move on to folder 12, which should take us from the 4th of November 2008 to the 8th of March 2011, provided I've got my dates correct. So we'll make a start. And there's my index, as usual, as to what should be here, but obviously won't be because I don't have it. Whoops, nearly missed one. The 250th anniversary of Robert Burns there. And again, this is another one that's a miniature sheet in a presentation pack. And I'm not going to go into why those are good, because I said that literally 30 seconds ago. The House of Tudor. Now, this is a good one, actually, because if I can take it out and show you, must remember where it goes, because I haven't got anything to guide me. Now, a lot of these presentation packs now, the bigger ones that come with a miniature sheet, they come with the miniature sheet already in the pack, so you don't actually have to go and buy miniature sheets anymore, because quite often the presentation packs will come with them in the pack. So this basically means two things. Number one, if you would normally collect both, this means you only have to collect one. It obviously means you can only display one side of it, but it does mean you only have to buy one thing. The downside is, if you are just a presentation packs collector and you have no interest in the miniature sheets, well, tough, because you've got to pay for them anyway now. So it is a bit of a double-edged sword, but useful to me. So I'm not complaining. I'm just making a statement. Classic album covers there. So that's Tubular Bells. That's Division Bell. Is that Park Life? Yeah, Park Life. That's Coldplay. London Calling. So that's obviously The Clash. Is Ziggy Stardust. I don't know what that one is. Or see, my eyesight is terrible. I can't even make out what these things are. Anyway, some classic albums. That's the Rolling Stones, but I don't know the album. Anyway, yeah, so classic albums there. Centenary of Girl Guiding. 1910 that started. I assumed it would have been earlier, but no, 1910. So 2010 was their centenary. So I'm pretty sure the Scouts started in like 1880s something. Can't believe it took 30 years for Girl Guiding to happen after the... Oh, well, never mind. So what have we got here? The accession of King George V. So this is a miniature sheet. Now, there's this one, which is the standard miniature sheet. There's also a... there's also a variation on this miniature sheet which has an overprint on it, which is reasonably sought after. And I'm not sure if I have that, but I certainly do know about it, so it's something I keep a lookout for. But this is the one that came in the presentation pack. Again, this is another miniature sheet in a presentation pack, which I love. This one is this is a King George V reprint from 1929, the Postal Union Congress. Now, this is a reprint of probably the most expensive George V stamp. So I like the fact that I've got these, but they are a reprint. They're basically a I forget what they call them, but they're not they're not technically a stamp, I don't think. Reproduction stamp. But I don't think you can, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you can use these for postage. The miniature sheet, I believe you can use for postage, but these reproductions, I don't think you can actually use for postage. So, this is another funny one. People don't class these sort of things as stamps, although I obviously do, because I collect presentation packs, that's why I had to have it, but stamp collectors don't class these as stamps, so you know, depending on what kind of collector you decide to be, they may not be welcome in your collection at all. But they are a reproduction of the one of the United Postal Union stamps from 1929, Postal Union Congress rather, before the United Postal Union. And I have the other four, but obviously I don't have the original one of these because they are very, very, very expensive. Probably the most expensive George V stamp. No. Pack of definitives. These are special delivery definitives. And this pack was actually frighteningly expensive for what it is. But then obviously it's an expensive postage, isn't it? Special delivery, so you'd expect that. What else have we got? No, that's it for this folder. So yeah, a couple of interesting ones in that folder, but again, an awful lot of empty space, which, what can you do? So, on to folder number, where are we? 13. Oh, lucky for some. Possibly not for me. So again, I'll just hold this one up, because that seems to be the easiest way to do things. Hold it up maybe a bit higher. Is that about right? What do you reckon, camera? Yeah, we'll go with that. So here's my index again that I've lovingly crafted for all of these folders. So we've got some space, we've got some space, we've got some more space, and here we are, some more reproduction stamps. Now again, this is the penny red pack. This is the reproduction stamps of the penny red, and as you'll notice, there are no letters on the bottom here. Obviously, these have all been reproduced by the one stamp. This is the 1841 penny red, and which obviously came out the year after the penny black. But there are no letters in the bottom corners here. So obviously they're still not valid for postage, but they're not even a proper reproduction of an original stamp. They are just, well, that's what they are. So again, these aren't valid for postage. I'm pretty sure they're not valid for postage at all. They are just reproduction stamps. But again, because they came in a presentation pack, they're part of my collection, whether that's agreed with by the community or not. So Christmas 2011, all sort of religious-y stamps. Yep. Harry Potter Heroes and Villains. No, this is a bit of a cheating pack really, because it's basically 5 of the same stamp twice, and that's it. So bit of a rip-off pack, if I'm honest with you, but still. Britons of Distinction, so these are all different British people that have achieved some level of distinction. I'm not going to bother reading them all. Classic Locomotives of Scotland. So there's all the trains you love from Scotland, all the famous Scottish trains. Right, more space. We're in space. Yep, some more definitives. So again, we've got the large letter ones here. Now these are obviously all, and in fact most of the definitive packs they are self-adhesive stamps, so the only way really to get them properly is to buy them new, because obviously self-adhesive stamps you can't really soak off envelopes, so the only way to have these stamps is to, in your collection really, is to buy them new, modern definitives. These are post and go stamps, so these are normally printed from kiosks, although you can buy them like this, like I do, in presentation packs. Now the kiosk printed stamps I don't really buy because I've got no interest in them, but any of the post and goes that come as a presentation pack deserve a place in my collection, so that's what I've done. And then some more definitives, and again they're all actually the regional definitives are still normal stamps. These are all self-adhesive, all the national ones, but the regionals are still licky stickies. So yeah, you can probably get these quite a lot quite a lot easier used than you will do these. Yeah, and that's it. That's the end of, what are we, folder 13. So, obviously, this hasn't been a long video, because there's not much to show. But I think, and I think I've said it before in these videos, like a collection is judged just as much by what isn't in it as by what is, I think, a lot of the time. And the story of somebody's collection can be, you know, a sort of window into the story of that person's life as well. And I think, all right, eventually I will manage to fill the holes in these books. But at the moment, it tells a sort of story in itself. The fact that, you know, stuff went wrong, and for some reason or another, I had to stop buying stuff, basically. And I think that's... So obviously it doesn't make particularly good video content because I haven't got an awful lot to show and I haven't got an awful lot to say about it. But I think it does tell a story, you know, a sort of there's sort of a subplot going on there. And I think it's good when you see collections like that where, you know, you might see, so like if somebody collected stamps, you know, in the 30s, 40s and 50s, you know, there might be a gap in their collection between 1940 and 1945, you know, where they, you know, perhaps went off to fight. Now, I didn't do that, obviously, but I think gaps in a collection can tell a story just as much as what's actually in it. And yeah, so it's been a quick video, not a lot to show, and yeah, that's it. It's coming to an end now, but so what I will do now is there'll be an end card and the usual things apply. So the Twitter thing is down here. There'll be a video here about something. There'll be another one down here which is chosen by you, by your choices, and there'll be a subscribe button up here somewhere. So hopefully I'll see you in the next video, and take care.